Hey y'all, back at it again with another Meatless Mondays based off that same Moosewood cookbook. This one I didn't actually change a whole lot from. I figured this week that we just focus on prepping tofu the proper way. This week we're tackling tofu because I think it can get a really bad reputation for all the wrong reasons. Saying that it doesn't have taste, it doesn't have a good texture, it's too hard to work with. I don't think any of that's very true. You just really have to know the proper steps, do them the right way. You're gonna get a product that turns out really yummy. This is probably one of the easiest and fastest ways that I know to prepare tofu, and it's super tasty. This can go on rice, you can throw it on a hoagie, noodles, you can do anything with it. This also ends up being a little healthier way to prepare tofu than a lot of the ways that you end up finding online, because a lot of that ends up being fried in oil. Not that that makes it unhealthy per se, but since this one just goes right in the oven, you're not using extra oil, butter, anything like that. Getting it really delicious with a nice basic sauce can end up taking that element out of here and applying it to something else like shredded jackfruit or a meat of your choice. So let's get into it. First off, we're going to press tofu the same way as usual. A clean tea towel on the bottom, tofu right in the middle of the plate, some clean paper towels on top. I like to put a plate and a couple heavy cans. While the tofu is being pressed, we can prep the vegetable. Here we're using 1/2 of a large onion. After dicing the half onion, we'll also dice 1 whole green pepper. And we're going to crush and chop 2 garlic cloves. After the tofu has been pressed and given off a lot of its moisture, I'd say about an hour, we can cut that in half long ways and cut those sections in half as well. Then if you turn it sideways, cut it in half and thirds. Get pretty good cubes that are very consistent all the way across. I'm going to break that apart with our hands and set it on a plate to just let any other moisture run off. Now for our sauce. We're going to start with a 8-ounce can of tomato paste. Two tablespoons tamari soy sauce, or regular soy sauce if that's all you've got. Two tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. One tablespoon of prepared mustard of your choice. I used Dijon here. And I use the juice of a half of a medium-sized lemon, about 2 tablespoons. At this point, you can add hot chilies of your choice. I use a chili garlic sauce here. Use as much or as little as you'd like. And then add 1 cup of water, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and whisk that all together. While our sauce sets, we're going to heat some oil in a pan. We're going to add that onion and saute it until it's translucent. At that point, we'll add the garlic and go until it becomes fragrant. At that point, we'll add our green pepper alongside 1 teaspoon fennel seeds, coriander, chili powder, and ground cumin. Add a dash of cayenne, again to your preference, and a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Mix that all together. And we're going to go until those spices become real nice and fragrant and the pepper starts to soften. At this point, we're going to reintroduce the sauce to the sauteed vegetables. And that's just going to go for another 5 minutes or so to kind of get that raw tomato paste taste out of the sauce. After it simmers and before the next step, you can blend this sauce for a smoother barbecue sauce. I kind of prefer the chunk. We're going to prep our baking dish as if it were a lasagna and put a little of the sauce on the bottom before we start to uniformly stack our tofu cubes on top. After all are arranged, pour the rest of the sauce over the top. Make sure that you're covering all of the white spots of the tofu to make sure that it really bakes that flavor into them. After wrapping that bad boy up in aluminum foil, it'll go right into the oven, 350 degrees for 30 minutes. After that point, I uncover and gently stir the tofu around. You're going to want to be careful here. You can see a couple times I even break some pieces of tofu. That'll go back in the oven for 30 minutes uncovered. And as it comes out, it's a gooey, delicious, bubbly masterpiece. Serving it this time, I decided to go with some white rice, a heaping serving of our barbecued tofu right on the side, as usual, a couple of the pickled onions out of the fridge. And a little bit of chopped parsley just to give it a little freshness. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Come back every Monday for another video with another update to a vintage recipe.